Legends tell tales of the no-named YouTuber who dares to ask but one simple question. Should you play Hades 2? Duh. Wait. Look, just keep watching, all right? Please? Because the long answer is also yes, but I'm going to explain why. Hades 2, much like Hades 1? Hades? I'm going to call them H1 and H2. H2 borrows a lot from H1, like any good sequel should. It really applies a principle that people remaking Final Fantasy VII should have used, which is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, it's not a carbon copy, nor should any sequel or remake be that case. But it takes all the things that you loved about the first and just adds more goodness onto the cake, like another layer. There's a lot of fun parallels in this game, and I definitely would say that this is a game made for fans of the first. As in, you should 100% play the first before playing this. And if you haven't, maybe space them out a bit so you don't get bored of the gameplay loop, because it will feel a little samey. H2 has the same great mechanics as the first. You get awesome boons from all your favorite Olympian gods. And you even have newcomers in Hephaestus and Hestia. Like any good Super Smash Bros. Game, they're all here. Hell, even Chaos is back. And he's looking way classier than he did in the last game. The Ambrosia mechanic is back. Karen and his shop are back. The trinket system's back. They even brought Skelmus back. And now the guy's a commander. This is a fantastic touch for those who played the first game. But there's stuff that isn't back. New stuff. Lots of it. For starters, there's the tarot card system, which is awesome. You select from a pool of cards to make your runs easier. My only gripe is that most of the time there's an optimal build, so you aren't really going to be touching this that often. Once you figure out your set build, it's really not going to change too much. You also have a set of new weapons, and Malinui in true witch form has a mana bar or prime bar. I honestly know what the hell it's called, but it's mana, which she can empower her skills or cast hexes with. Speaking of hexes, you can commune with Selene, and she'll grant you a special power, which can be activated once you've spent a certain amount of mana. It also has a little talent tree, which is fun, in case you run into her more than once in a specific run. And after you finish your first run, you get the oath system back in the game, where you can basically just keep ramping up the difficulty for your further runs. There's even the pet system, which is a cute and welcome addition, offering you even more variety than ever before. You can really spend minutes designing and customizing Malinue to your heart's content. The beautiful thing about H2 is that it's going to feel just as familiar as the first. The way Malinue moves and attacks and dodges, it feels exactly like her brother, and man, does it feel good. One of Hades' best points, and arguably my favorite point, is the story, the world, the mythology. Each character is brilliantly voiced and well written. You learn so much about the different gods and titans and all your favorite characters from myth. And Hades 2 is no different. They've expanded the roster, and I still find myself nerding out just as hard as I did in the first one. Hades is one of those few games that makes me just want to hear out the conversations rather than skim read through them in a few seconds. And honestly, by today's standards, that's very impressive. The story has you taking the role of Malinui, daughter of Hades and sister to Zagreus. And you're trying to defeat the titan Kronos, who has reassembled himself and is out for revenge against his children for tearing him into tiny pieces and scattering him across Tartarus. You get introduced to new characters, such as Hecate, Odysseus, Nemesis, but what I love is that they all fit so wonderfully with the overall premise. Much like the first game, you progressively go through 4 worlds, each of them getting harder and harder until it culminates into a fight with the Titan Lord himself. And, much like true H1 fashion, as you start progressing through the story and inevitably dying, which you will die a lot, you start learning more and more about each character's goals, their ambitions, and why they do the things that they do. All the characters are so nuanced and interesting. Some are funny, some are gloomy, some are weird, and some are just plain awesome. The same can be said for the art style. It's vibrant, it's filled with colors, all the designs of the gods are beautiful. If you want an example of what I'm talking about, just take a look at Dionysus. I think he's got a sock, or I'm hoping it's a sock, stuffed into his leopard print thong. There's so much life in all of these illustrations, and hundreds of tiny little details that you might not catch the first time you look at any of them. As somebody who's played many roguelikes, I think that there's two factors that every game should have, which is variety and, for a lack of a better term, breakability. I'll explain. I think the main appeal from playing a roguelike, other than any other type of game, first of all, is a sensation that every run is fresh and unique. And ultimately, you're pursuing that one goal, which is to get this specific skill that you saw, which combines with another skill or a talent or what have you, turning into this brutal murder machine. Some roguelikes really understand this concept and let you go truly wild, while others not so much, and ultimately suffer as a consequence. I think Hades sort of falls in the middle. You can't just one-shot everything, and because of the way boons work, you can't just overlap 5 attack boons and make your basic attacks go absolutely bananas. If only. In terms of variety, I think Hades has a lot of it going on. There are duo skills, plus the newly added hexes, plus the daedalus weapon crafting. You seldom feel like you're doing the same exact run. I'd argue most of the time the boons don't really change your playstyle, so much as sort of make it just easier. Again, not a huge gripe, because I'd say the biggest driving factor for me doing that one more run right before bed in Hades was actually seeing the story progress. It's strange to call a rogue game a story-based game, but Hades is in fact that. There's an actual story to it, so I'm a little more lenient with this particular game when it comes to how often I just want to keep going. Now, of course, there are some fun ways to slightly break the game, particularly Poseidon's ability to duplicate pickups, but then again, it doesn't really do that much. There's a lot of the things in the game that just tend to make your run smoother, not turn you into Ares. Now, you might be wondering, why did I put a section dedicated to just one of the 4 bosses that you'll have to fight every time you try to get back to the underworld? Oh, and brother, let me tell you why. Scylla is the best designed boss I've ever played in any roguelike. And trust me, I've played a lot of roguelikes. The person or team who designed Scylla should get the Nobel Prize for boss design, because I can spend literal minutes gushing over how elegant and well-made her design is. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I think I will. Let's start with the humor. Scylla is funny. Her voice actor is just really funny. Her high pitch and cute yet scathing tone, it just fits her perfectly. Mechanically, it's also pretty intense from the first fight against Hecate. You're now fighting 3 bosses at the same time instead of 1. You got Jetty the guitarist and Roxy the drummer. But for me, the reason this boss is just peak design is actually the musicality of this fight. I adore this fight. The song itself is awesome. There's actually 2 songs which even fit canonically into the story, as she writes another song just to describe how much of a pain in the ass you are. And it's, beautiful. The boss literally writes a second piece of game music to show you how much he despises you. And that is genius. And besides being a catchy rock song, once you defeat a certain member of their trio, the song actually loses that respective part of the music. If you kill the drummer first, then the song loses its drums. It's magnificent. It's sublime. Scylla literally feels saddened at you destroying her music mid-fight. It might not be the hardest fight ever, but who cares? That is just so cool. Scylla to me is the gold standard of designing a boss. And in the middle of me writing this script, I've learned she writes a 3rd song. Just when I thought Scylla couldn't get any better, she goes and proves me wrong.
About themes, so I just can't appreciate the depth of your work. But yeah, it is a new song. And only the first part.
I suppose the second part is imminent. You make your performances unnecessarily difficult by fighting me, but that's a choice you keep on making.
Well, we have to drown someone. And sailors have gotten too easy, lady. You'll never be an artist if you don't push harder and harder and harder. This song's called Bewitching Eyes. You look at me with bewitching eyes. Red in a cream, give me butterflies. I can't disguise.
It's beautiful.
the pain I feel
I'm just like, I don't know what to say. Jodo, in ancient Greece. All right, look, let me explain. I'm 35, so this experience might exactly not resonate with everyone, but I want to tell you guys a story. I'm 9 years old. I'm in my old house with my see-through purple Game Boy Color. I'm playing my first run of Pokemon Gold. And because I'm 9 years old and it's Pokemon, it's awesome. There's a new region, there's new Pokemon, new types. This is just the greatest thing that has happened to 9-year-old me. And then, once you beat Lance, you are greeted with the ending screen, but then, wait a minute, a ticket for the SSN? You're saying I get to go back to Kanto? I mean, surely it's just to see some nice cutscene. I can re-explore all of Kanto and refight all the gym leaders and their higher level. And when I learned that you could actually climb Mount Olympus and go to the surface and fight alongside the gods, I had that same exact sensation that 9-year-old me had playing Pokemon Gold for the first time. There's another giant section of the game that unlocks midway through you playing, and it's fully fleshed out. It isn't some cheeky boss battle. It's tons of new characters, new bosses, new things to farm, new boons, new gods, new mechanics. There weren't any trailers or forums or Let's Plays in 1999. And in a weird way, I'm really glad I didn't expose myself to any more trailers or forums or Let's Plays. I had no idea. Because if you haven't played Hades 2 and are planning to, stop watching this video. Go play the game. This is how you make a sequel. And this is how I want to end this video. By telling you that when you love what you're doing, it shows. There are so many games I've played in the last decade that were either bad or mediocre. And the first thought that would always come into my mind was, do the developers actually play their own games? Do they know what makes a video game good? And thank Lord Zeus himself that this isn't a problem with Supergiant Games. They outdid themselves, which is something I think that is really, really hard with sequels, especially after the first one was so critically acclaimed. There are minor gripes that I had, like figuring out where I was supposed to get certain materials and having to end up looking them up online, or learning the hard way that you can't re-roll the crappy materials into good gates. But really, those are minor things on the grand scale of what a masterpiece this game was. And honestly, I could care less. So yeah, you should go play Hades 2. You should go play it right now after watching this video. As for me, hell, I think I might do the same.
Return to Shadow now.